Thank you for tuning in today at lunchtime for another episode from 90 Degrees North on leadership. Today's conversation is one that I hope is encouraging to you because it doesn't matter who you are, where you're coming from. Today's conversation is going to cover tips on how you can become a more influential leader to your team. So in this conversation, we need to step back and ask first the conversation of, does your desk hold you back? That's a tough struggle of a conversation. It's a tough situation even to be in. Sometimes your career has you at a place where you don't get to lead any more than what you currently do, and maybe there's no room for growth in your organization. So you might wrestle with these conversation points today because they might be the push that it takes for you to be able to find your space so that you can actually have an environment to step into your greatness. So today we're going to look at the ability to have an impact on an organization or even a group of people that just lives with you on a daily, uh, doesn't matter if it's in a workplace, work environment, home environment, but understand that sometimes in your organization, employees aren't often granted the opportunity to obtain a title, even at the level of leadership that you might want to get in your own office. So, what we need to recognize is true leadership is all about influence instead of authority. That can be kind of jeopardizing sometimes in some roles within your workplace. And sometimes the struggle is you might be more influential than the leader of your workplace. So, just heed that warning as you listen to this discussion today. So, today let's discuss what leading by influence is, and in this, the tips that we can look at of becoming a more influential leader and the skills that you need to acquire to make those positive impact changes in those that you influence. Maybe it is a team, maybe it's simply just your family and how you're communicating at home. So, what is leading by influence exactly? Leading by influence is a management style, but it's also a lifestyle that involves impacting the opinions of others, the attitudes of others, the choices of others, and even the behaviors of others that might be part of your team or part of your organization. Influencing or persuading others is a positive way of focusing on simply empowering them, developing them, serving them, and helping them understand that we're all working together as a team. They're not simply just working for you, and understand the dynamic of team can go a lot farther than the individual. So today we're helping others, maybe it's your employees, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your children, achieve their goals by bringing out the very best in them. Help them celebrate wins in their life. Help them understand hallmark moments. And this is your challenge today as a leader, is to grow in the ways that you can be an impacting, influential leader. So the first of these you can see in just the notes of this conversation is the first one is build trust. In all things, trust is the foundation of a great leader. Building trust means that though through your actions, you make your team members feel comfortable on relying on you in all things. You help your teammates feel confident in your abilities and in your intentions, that you feel motivated and they feel motivated when you all work together. One of the best ways to build trust is by giving it to your people. Give it to them before it's earned, but sometimes understand how you measure that and how you're discerning with that. This is a way that you can connect with your team members to help them understand that it's because you appreciate them that they're being trusted. In turn, they're going to return your favor with hard work and they keep at it. The second of these, there's 19, so you're going to bear with me a little bit here, is to stay humble. In being humble, you have the perspective to see that you are as valuable as others. At the same time, you understand that others are as valuable as you are. So we need to understand that mistakes will happen. And in that, we need to understand you are there and willing and able to help meet the needs of others. And that's very important to your organization. Team members respond positive to managers who recognize that everyone is equal. We're all on the same path. We're all on the same journey. We all, as people say all the time, we get out of bed and we put our pants on the same way, one leg in each hole, one another. So the third of these is related to skill level. So sometimes this one might be a little bit more difficult, but it is understanding how you show competence. Your employees are more likely to follow you in your leadership when they simply know that you know what you're talking about. Continue to gain expertise and work hard, work diligent to acquire more knowledge for your sake so that you can become a greater expert in your field. What we need to understand then is this is imparted onto your team members. And as it is imparted onto them, they're going to excel as well. You are giving them something of a greater desire to follow. So, here, for example, you might attend a continuing education course in your field, but when you come home, you don't hold that information for your own. You share that and the highlights with your team in a meeting or an organizational conversation. The fourth is help others find their voice. So many times people will come into a room and there's the person that will talk nonstop, and then there's the person that never says a word in the meeting. A good leader will find their space knowing when to listen more and speak less. In any course of study as you go through, you might look at finding your strengths and finding your weaknesses. I'd encourage you, examine your weaknesses, focus on those weaknesses and not your strengths. A common one I'll share with you for me was being the last person in the room to speak instead of the first person in the room to speak. You might be like me, you can't stand when the room sits silent. But I've had to work on that. I've had to grow that to help other people be able to have their voice first. So a good leader explains their vision to their team, then allows the team, the members, to be innovative, to be collaborative, and to engage in that conversation. These result in an atmosphere that has just this unassumed conversation, but onus of co-ownership, which gives then the people in that room a sense of pride, a sense of belonging. And then they start to see their voice as a contributing factor to the achievements of the team. The fifth is this: provide a chance for the small wins, not just celebrating the big wins, but the small wins. Be intentional. As a leader, set your employees up or your children up for great success and help them find ways that in their helping and their involvement as they achieve these incremental goals to taste the celebration of success. People respond well when their potential is magnified through their achievements. And then they appreciate the leader that you are, and they are going to then turn and help the whole organization thrive. So you're empowering them. It can be especially rewarding when your team finds success together, as everyone involved in that project is then recognized for their contribution. Everyone matters. The challenge when everyone matters is to make sure you celebrate the bigness of everyone mattering. Not just that one person with a great idea, but how then that other person developed that great idea behind the scenes that nobody knew about. The sixth of 19 is this: believe in your team members. When a person knows someone believes in them, it's easier for that person to become motivated. It's easier for that person to work harder for you, for the organization, and have a set desire to simply achieve more. Make sure to regularly and sincerely tell your employees that you believe in their work, praise them for what they're doing, and help them understand what we just spoke of in the fifth one is you've just achieved something very big, and celebrate it with them. You should also support your team members by speaking out on their behalf. Have their back. Offer to help them, and even then come back around and give them the recognition that's needed, as they were the root cause of the impetus of the conversation. So the seventh, serve others first. The organization that I get to serve on a daily basis and one of my main contract holders, this is one of their key conversation points. Serving others first, others before yourself. That's actually in their mission value goal chart that's on the wall. Helping others grow is a core responsibility of a good leader. When your leader is squelching your voice, they're squelching your questions, they're squelching even your leadership, it's time to focus on developing an aspect of you that you need to be able to take and move to create a better you. You have to step into your greatness. If there's not organizational space for you, I'm not telling you leave the organization, but sometimes leaving the organization might be the very thing that you as a servant leader need to do to be recognized for the potential that you have. When we prioritize servant leadership, your employees begin to glow from the effects of how you serve them, how you ask what they need, how you can help them. Servant leadership is important in business because it creates a work environment in which every employee at all levels of your organization feel these three things: respected, appreciated, and most importantly, valued. As soon as you, as a leader, leave the conversation where that employee feels valued any longer, you've lost that employee. You need to understand that employee is already looking for new employment due to the fact that they've lost their value of how they're treasured within your organization. So think big for others is the eighth thing. Influential leaders have high aspiration for their employees, for their team. They see and cultivate the abilities that even an individual may not recognize in themselves. Presenting someone with the opportunity to do a task they've never done because you believe in them, and they might see it as an opportunity like, man, why are you asking me? I shouldn't be doing this. Because you understand one of your goals as a leader is to help place them in a position where they should be able to reach their fullest potential. If you're not helping others reach their fullest potential, you need to examine why are you leading and what impacts are you having as a leader. Number 9, the balance autonomy and authority. How do I balance me, it being about me and my decision making, and my voice of authority? First, I need to go back and recognize the first two that I just stated, number 7 and number 8, thinking big for others and servant leadership. Those two things help us balance wanting to be autonomous and wanting to be the final voice of authority. Influential leaders understand how to do both and relate to their employees so that you can come to the place where you inspire them to gain more respect amongst your team. Regularly instill confidence in your team members' growth. Don't celebrate the things they're celebrating that were successful, but the milestones of movement at which they've attained. Let them know how to trust the quality of their work. Let them know you trust their time management skills. Let them know you trust their ability to find the resources they need to complete their task. Let me restate those. Let me say those again so that you have a bigger understanding. And maybe you're leading a larger organization where you have lots of employees and you can't micromanage them all anymore. So do these things. Let them know you trust their quality of work. You're leaning on them to lead you up from what they know through their quality of work. Lean on them to help them understand that you trust their time management skills and their ability to find the resources they need to complete the task. You don't have to show them. You don't have to hold their hand. Autonomy also encourages your team to work individually. They're held stronger as an individual to run faster and run farther. They don't have to wait and ask permission to have their hand held as they cross the street. You've equipped them to go, to run. And as a group, then, you can now be creative in which the whole team is highly motivated and always, and there's ongoing encouragement. The 10th one is this: understand the picture of influence with your character. As a leader, myself, as I'm leading these conversations, character matters. It's important as a leader to do what's right, no matter how difficult it may be. I'll also add, it's also important to do what's right when no one's looking. Team members are the most likely to trust you if you exhibit highest integrity and you take personal responsibility for every single action that you produce as a human being. As an influencing leader, you should tolerate changes, you should tolerate some delays, and even unexpected obstacles while maintaining a calm and even demeanor. Know those things are going to happen. Don't lose your cool. Understand that you are influencing with your character every exuberance of the character of who you are. Clarity. The 11th one here is clarity. Understanding the picture of experience. When you get to lead and you get to lead out, clarity has expectations. Good leaders make their expectations certain. The vision's clear. They set definite goals at the beginning of a project and they relay them onto the team, and the team and you both help carry them out. So that at the same time, these goals become clear ideas in the pathway of progress. As a leader, effectively stating what you expect can help reduce confusion and lead employees to complete more tasks even more successfully. It's also important to keep your team engaged by regularly communicating your vision and your success. Talking points and touch points to keep the conversation real, alive, and going. 12th, we look at the understanding of what it means to be a person that's passionate. I've oftentimes been accused of being too passionate. Sometimes passion, as it envelops, can almost appear as anger. So just know that to keep it on guard. Passion, though, produces energy that can ignite others with great enthusiasm. A positive attitude can benefit both you and those around you. So, liking what you do and being passionate about what you do is in your career path the thing that's going to move others to want to jump on board with you. A good leader will have people asking to follow you, asking to step on board, asking to be part of your team. So be passionate and encourage them to stay focused and stay productive. If you care deeply about something, your team is likely going to care deeply about it with you. So share your excitement, show your excitement, and help them again come back to those moments of celebrating how we do this together. Number 13. This one's a little bit tougher struggle for some people. Some people like to keep their cards held closer to the chest. But people who are open minded are more likely to appreciate experiences, beliefs, emotions, goals, even arguments that might not align with your own view. Understand all those are like understanding your own character trait study. If you did an executive study of your personal leadership skills, you're going to have wins, you're going to have growth, and you're going to have weaknesses that you need to find success in those weaknesses. Understanding, demonstrating openness means you'll listen, you're going to engage, you're going to be able to be open to what your conversations need to be for your employees to be heard, and at the same time then understand their viewpoints and ideas. Now, does that mean your morals shift if they're bringing an amoral view? No, you still hold your view, but you listen with an open mind. You don't listen to argue. You don't listen to cut them off. You listen openly with an open mind and let them vet, share, show what they say. Oftentimes, you'll find people that know your value set, people that know who you are, people that understand the integrity of your business as it's growing, will hear themselves as they talk to you and go, yeah, those two things don't line up, do they? So we come to the fourth thing, and that is this: practice, and this is where we all struggle, effective nonverbal clues. Also, what you need to recognize is how you stop the nonverbal clues that maybe give off the wrong vibe, the wrong energy. So what you say and how you say it are equally important to the consideration of how you say them as a leader. Keeping those points in mind when communicating with your team is going to help you ensure that your messages come across in a very clear and influential manner. Be on guard. Be aware of your body language. Slouching, crossing your arms, paying attention to things other than the conversation, your phone, your pen, tapping your foot. These are all examples of nonverbal messages that give a negative impression. Try to keep your arms open, literally, intentionally. Think about not crossing your arms in meeting. Pay attention to where your head is looking, where your face is aimed. Don't look down, but keep eye contact. Understand that when you are heads up, your body is relaxed and you're engaged in the conversation. When you make eye contact, you are trying to gain the trust. Looking others in the eye when you talk to them is just a small and effective way to exert influence. Help contact others by simply looking at them in the eye so that they will look you back in the eye. There's a lot of clear communication that happens at that point. Eye contact helps you connect with other people, and it can help them concentrate more on what you're telling them. In your life, you have all kinds of stories, and I was challenged by a great man one time. He's like, Matt, daily, write an influential story from your day down, journal it. Including stories in your conversation will relay information, especially if they're solid examples. In a story format, you keep the listener more engaged. This can then help your employees retain more of what you're saying. 15, get to know your team members. Spending time with your team is important. Getting to know them for the people that they are and who they are as people working for you. Try to learn what they enjoy doing when they're not with you at the workplace. Even make it possible. Get to know them outside of the walls of your workplace. We need to understand we can make it easier for them to understand us as we agree with them as who they are, where they are. They'll start to understand your vision as a leader and your ability to want to know and see who they are. It's way easier to care for somebody and to serve them when you know them on a level that's beyond just their role in your workplace at the office. Caring, trusting, and showing. I'll say that again. Caring, trusting, and showing. By truly getting to know each person on your team, you are setting an example of how you want to make a meaningful, get this, meaningful professional connection. They're not simply there to be used for you to gain monetary growth by them being present. They're valued as a team member. In this, the 16th point is possible. Develop a good relationship with your employees. You don't need to be best friends with them. And honestly, you can't be best friends with them. There may simply be too many of them. But what is important is for you to connect with them on a positive level. Think about your team members as if your relationship with any one of them could benefit from a change. You need to understand that your life could be what benefits, not them. Paying attention to those around you, beginning communication, and getting to know your coworkers will help you find that you can build a workplace relationship with very, very minimal effort. And it's based on positivity. The 15th, build commitment between yourself and your team members. Your employees want a leader that they can rely on. They know you're there. Not simply from the fact of understanding that you have their back. That's maybe a mistrust. If they sense that you are invested in them, they'll have a reason then to listen to you, to present your vision clearer, to state your goals clearer. So similarly, you too will have the ability to be more effective as you influence your employees. They should be as committed to you and to your vision as you are to them. Take the time to find out what the goals are, what is most important to them. Understand the place in life where they want to get to and help them check those boxes and make sure that you share the same ideals with them to help them get to where they want to be as you're helping them and they're helping you get to where you need to be. 18. Set a good example. People are inspired by leaders with clear, strong goals and the ability to meet those goals. If you set a good example, your team may emulate your simple behavior. They will sound like you. By following the rules you set, you're showing your team that you're an honest and ethical leader. Demonstrate the characteristics you'd like to see in others by living those characteristics. If you have high expectations of your team, then you need to also understand that they have high expectations of you yourself. And lastly, 19, the support network. As a leader, recognize the importance of your networks, the people you have around you. You never know when you might need to be able to lean on those other people and their field of expertise when you need help. Strive to build connections with people who share your interests, goals, and work philosophies. There's a theory out there, and the theory is 6. You have time for 6 of these people in your life. That means you have time to be influential into 5 other people. Who are your 6, and who are you supporting? Who are you leading? Who are you influencing? So hopefully today's conversation and these talking points, it might move you. 1, 2, 3, 5 of them. But the hardest one might be this. Don't be satisfied today with where you're at today. If as a leader you think, I'm it, I've evolved, I'm the best I can be, I don't have any reason to grow, you're probably not hearing this. You probably haven't listened to these 19 points. You probably shut it off way too soon. But as a leader that thinks you are the answer for everything, understand there is constant, ongoing growth in life to keep your vessel moving, to show others the potential of who you are, and you to discover the greatness of who you are. So I'd encourage you today, as you listen to this, you're a person that you've hit the ceiling, but you think there's more for yourself. Be bold, be courageous, have trust, search for your new desk, your new path, your new place to serve, so that you have the space to grow. Hopefully you've enjoyed the 9 Degrees North lunch today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate your time with me. And then I say this to you. May your day be blessed with helping others find their vision and their place to lead and lead others and be influential. Have a great day.